Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a coffee and convos, little quick chat. Of the Girl Get Up podcast. Excuse me. I am your host, Miss Chauncey or Miss C Jones. I am the owner and creator of Infinite Direction and the Girl Get Up podcast. And I just want to say hello, meet all of my collective members, my Girl Get Up collective members, because in a second, I'm going to call on all my ladies for some help. But before we get there, today is President's Day. It's February 16th, 2026. And yesterday, I was going to say last night, but yesterday was the release of episode 99 of the Girl Get Up podcast. I soon will be approaching very soon episode 100. It would be such a milestone for the podcast. I am so excited. And before I leave you all today, well, this quick little chat, I'm going to, excuse me, put a call to action out to you all to leave me some messages or something. I'm going to give you all the link to let me know how you guys have enjoyed the podcast. Give me some of your best Girl Get Up moments, and I'm going to share them and all that cute little stuff, and I'm going to share them on my 100th episode next week. It will be the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd. Let me look at my calendar to make sure, because I'll chop up a date in a second. So yes, it would be Sunday the 22nd. That would be the day I would be doing. I want to I want to do a live. I was thinking about doing a live, but I might pre record. So I'm always a spare of the moment person. I guess that's that Aquarian nature. So I'm going to figure out um, whether I'm going to do something recorded or if I'm going to do it like a live or something. But I say all that. What are you doing? I say all that. Oh yeah, because you know I would get mad. Um, but I say all that to say is I'm going to leave a link for you all to a form where you all can just fill it out. Let me know your best Girl Get Up moments. If it was something that you've been inspired to create because you've watched the episode, if it was something that you've been inspired to implement in your business because you've learned something from an episode. I want to hear all of that feedback from you. I'm going to put that form in my community post as a community post. I'm going to do it later today. I have something else that I need to create to go with it, but I'm going to do that later today because 100 episodes recorded and published is a very big deal in the podcasting world. If you do not know, most podcasters do not survive 6 months. They don't get past 6 months. And a lot of that is due because of a lack of support, um, not understanding or not knowing your niche or your specific direction. It's very difficult to get visibility. So you have to be very creative when it comes to your marketing, when it comes to your promotion, when it comes to building a community. People are fickle, and honestly, we like something today. You might hear something, an episode that you might not rock with, or somebody might have on a guest, or they might even have some feedback about something, or an opinion about something, or a point of view about something that you might not like, and you might stop listening to that person or that podcast. So the industry is a very difficult industry to navigate. So it's you have to continue to nurture your podcast, nurture your community. And that is a very difficult thing to do. It's funding, whether you get subscriptions. We talked about that with Joe Button. Whether you have a strong community because of your area of expertise. We talked about that with Joe Rogan and Spotify. So it can be very difficult to maintain your community, to maintain your podcast when you are strictly independent. You're doing it by yourself. You have your hands in every point of the process. So to survive past 6 months, for me, it's been 2 years. And to get to a place where I am, I'm really over 100 episodes, but y'all see 100 or we'll see 100. But to survive through that, to navigate different challenges, it's a really big deal. So I am going to do something small to commemorate the um the milestone in the Girl Get Up podcast, and hopefully it's the beginning of 100 more. So I thank you all who have continued to support my journey. It is very eye opening. I learn a lot about myself. I learn a lot about my business. I learn a lot about limitations and strengths. So, it's one of those things where it truly is a part of me. And what I mean by that was, you'll hear people say your business is kind of like your baby, and it truly is. So, just to continue to nurture it, pour into it, change it, as you go along, you're going to implement different things. So I'm excited about the future of the podcast and other things that are going to come out of the podcast. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. But the purpose of this little convos and coffee chat is to talk about Jaden Smith. Okay. I really wanted to 60 seconds. I do shorts, but 60 seconds is not enough time to get out a lot of stuff that I want to say about some of these stories. And this Jaden Smith story is one story that I feel like in 60 seconds will not do it justice. Now, I've looked at a couple of online articles um, talking about it. Now, Jaden Smith, if you haven't heard, Jaden Smith walked off a interview. So he was at a Drewski premiere. Now, Drewski has a show, and I wrote this down because I don't, I'll follow stuff, but I don't be following these people like that. But Drewski, now I know who he is. He's a comedian, and actually, I have a interview with Harold Levert. It's in my library. You can go check that out. Harold Levert was actually was on one of Drewski's what's it? One of those type of things where you kind of find the talent in the community. So go over. I gotta find the name of his episode. I'll put it in the description. But I had an interview with Harold Levert. He was actually on one of Drewski's shows. He won one of Drewski's competitions. So ironically, I know who Drewski is, but he had a screening of Drewski's Could Have Been Love 2. So that's going to come out. And Jaden Smith was at the premiere. Now, one of Complex's uh, commentators or interviewers or whatever had the opportunity to speak to Jaden, and I feel like she botched it, sis. I she she asked Jaden about something. Okay, so Jaden Smith was seen with Steven Smith, who did some designing on Kanye's shoe. And so she asked Jaden what the two, Jaden Smith and Stephen Smith, were up to, because Stephen Smith is known to be working with, or who had worked with Kanye on his Yeezy shoe. So she asked him, what do they have cooking up? I got it out. Okay. So Jaden looks at her and walks off. Now, the thing that got me upset about it was that I saw the very first editorial that I saw on the interview, or the botched interview, was Atlanta Black Star. And the title of it automatically kind of threw me off, because they kind of positioned him as a problem child. Now, this is the Black Star editorial title. It says, "Is this how you're raising your kids?" Jaden Smith's parents, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, gets blamed after he abruptly shuts down interview, talking about Jaden. What the heck does Will and Jada's parenting got to do with the fact that you asking this man about, you asking Jaden, grown man now, these not kids no more. Regardless of what we remember him as from Karate Kid and the Pursuit of Happiness, this man is in his 20s. He is a grown man. Why are we talking about Will and Jada's parenting? What does that got to do with the price of tea in China? That's the first thing that kind of made me like do a double take, because I felt like that was unfair. But here's the thing, that why I say she botched the interview, because as an interviewer myself, you have to do your homework on the people that you're talking to. Now, this story is kind of impromptu. She just so happened to catch him on the red carpet. But as an interviewer, to play it safe, sis, what you should have asked him was about his collaboration with Christian Louboutin. That's where you should have kept it. And we're going to talk about that one in a second. But that's where you should have kept it. I feel like, why are you talking to him about a Kanye situation, or Kanye, a designer for Kanye, when Jaden Smith has been, his role now, his job now is creative director for Christian Louboutin, who in fact is a black man. And I just learned that about a year ago. One of the hugest fashion houses when it comes to shoes right now, and has been for quite some time. He is the youngest male creator, the only, matter of fact, he's the only male, their first ever creative director. And he's been in that role since 2025. So, to talk about Kanye, which, come to find out, a couple of years ago, Jaden Smith had walked off one of Kanye's fashion shows. He walked off of their show, and he did a somewhat of a similar interview like this, talking about the fact that he does not want to be associated with any more hip hop icons. Now, I just figured that out looking deeper into the story. So I kind of feel like it was irresponsible reporting for editorials such as Page Six and what is it, Atlanta Black Star, to run, features talking about Will and Jada's parenting, or if Jaden Smith was being a diva, when clearly he's already stated that he does not want to be associated with any type of hip hop icons after him and Kanye already having an issue. Now, that kind of was the reporter being messy, or did she not know that Jaden Smith had already done put this information out there? So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that was irresponsible reporting. But if you go and you read the story, see, this is the power of on using venues such as online articles and stuff like that to push stories. So hint hint, if you are an entrepreneur or if you are a creative, you're a singer or you're an independent artist, leverage online articles because the reach is very significant. But I just didn't understand that. Like for me to not be in those type of environments, but quickly learned, okay, so him and Kanye had an issue previously. I would think that if you had a new online art newspaper site or something like that, or you would know, okay, let's not run with that story because it's a deeper issue. But it was something, and this is Atlanta Black Star. And I wanted to read something really quick because this is what. So as I'm reading through it, first of all, like I said, they're referring to his past work when he was a kid, referring to Karate Kid and also The Pursuit of Happiness. When, like I said, he's done quite a few things. First of all, look at his bone structure. He that first of all, he looked like his mama. And he definitely gives fashion. He's a very handsome young man, but I feel like they will never, or I don't want to say they would never. I feel like one of the reasons why Jada and Will kind of let their kids create their own lane is because they stuff like this. When stuff happen, it's always going to come up as Will and Jada because Will and Jada have such they're like Hollywood. What is that? I don't want to say the perfect couple. Okay, I don't want to say the perfect couple, but they're like Hollywood golden. I don't know, but that like they're a really huge couple. So I feel like um, what's the daughter's name? Is Jada and Willow have to work really, really hard under their own umbrella to get away from that name as much as they can. Of course, they're celebrity kids, but I don't know. I feel like they have to work extra hard to develop their own lane and be their own person. And I feel like they've done that. They've done that. Willow, I could say pop. Her lane, her musical lane is pop. She did shake her head when she was a kid, and that was a really really big song. But since then, she created her own lane when it comes to music. Didn't she do what is the name of that really big? It'll come to me. But Coachella. Thank you. She did Coachella. I feel like she did Coachella a while back. But and then here we have Jaden with the fashion thing, which I feel like is well deserved. Like they worked very, very hard. And they are celebrity kids. So if Will and Jada raise their kids a little bit differently from the average person, their environment is totally different. Their environment is totally different. They're exposed to way more in their everyday life that the average person just won't see. So for I feel like Jaden did the right thing because he could have gave her a royal cuss out. Like here I am, I've done all of this stuff, and you come asking me about another man, girl. Bye. Like but with some other words thrown up in there. All he did was walk off, and it became like a very huge deal for some reason. I just didn't understand that. But yeah, Will and Jada's parenting it ended up being headlines, So I feel like it was poor reporting. Do your homework on the people that you interviewing. Know that, okay, even for me, before I even hit play, I am already establishing a rapport with the people that I'm interviewing. I'm talking about, hey, so this is the stuff that I had on my agenda to talk about. I'm running through the list. I've had people tell me I don't want to talk about that, or I don't want to talk about it in that way, and I will remove the question from the list. I could have a whole list of things that I might want to ask, but depending on how the interview goes, I might say, that's a sore point. Let me not talk about that, or I'll cut it out. If I feel like it don't need to be put out there, there are certain things that I will cut out of an interview. Know the people that you interview. And I feel like that would have, if she would have just kept it just about him, what he's been able to accomplish over there at on Christian Louboutin's fashion and his business, she should have kept it there instead of talking about somebody he already done said, listen, don't, I'm not associated with them folks. Don't ask me nothing about them folks. So, rule of thumb, keep it just about that person. And I can understand that the environment is like you got to think quick, but I would have been heck of annoyed too about that. I would have been like, girl, do you know who I am? We ain't talking about them. So, but I don't know. Or just ask him. I mean, it was Drewski's premiere, so I mean, it was a million other things she could have asked him outside of somebody he don't rock with. So poor interview uh, skills, poor, I don't know, editorial for after the fact for other venues and connections, because one uh online magazine put out a story, and then it just seemed like every other online person who does and I wonder if they freelance, and they probably are, I'm quite sure they are, pick up the story and then continue to report on it. So that just goes to show you how powerful that industry is. They put out one narrative, and next thing you know, you have 50 other outlets running with the same story without giving it a little bit more um thought, or a little bit more information or context to why he did not want to be asked that question, or why he doesn't want to be associated with any, in his words, hip hop icons. So I feel like more people with, I don't want to say integrity, because I don't know if it was done on purpose. Like I said, I don't know whether she just didn't know, but I feel like just have a little bit more. I guess you could say integrity when it comes to the reporting part. Why, you know, um, make it where you're telling both sides of the story instead of just one. So when you have people's attention like that, make sure it's fair and unbiased reporting. And I feel like, I was gonna say, I feel like he wasn't disrespectful at all. However, I have been walked off a job for walking away from somebody. Well, I felt they was being disrespectful to me. But, so I don't know that walking away thing. I feel like it can save you from being barraged with some choice words. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be more disrespectful to let somebody verbally have it versus just, you know what, this not worth my time. I'm gonna walk away. But keeping it all in context, if you are a business owner or creative, whatever, and you are on someone else's platform, whether it's a podcast or um, a video vlog or whatever the case may be, whether you're at I'm trying to think of one of those type of, if you're on a podium or a part of what is the word that I'm looking for? A platform, okay, where you are a guest, a panel. Thank you. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And you are asked a question that you're not quite comfortable with. Practice your response to kindly get around uncomfortable questions. So, it's I don't know, it's a two-way street. However, I feel like it wasn't disrespectful to walk off. If you gonna ask me a disrespectful question, you gonna waste my time, I'm gonna waste yours. We about to say, okay, that's it, girl. Bye bye. But that's just me. I kind of understood that. So um that was the end of that. Parenting, I felt like that was a dig. And I felt like it was unnecessary. And that kind of like made me upset about the whole story because just to plug yesterday's interview, we talked about that. As a parent, you do everything in your power to kind of, you know, raise your kids with the proper morals and the proper values. And like I was talking about Jada and Will, the environment that they're in is not the average, and their kids are exposed to way more things than our kids are exposed to. You think about if you have teens or you have older kids, think about some of the issues that your kids have come to you with, or y'all had, throughout their growing up or their experience, and multiply that times 10. They have everything at their disposal. So, to raise your kids to where they're happy, they're healthy, they are contributing to the name or to the legacy in their own way, moving the goalpost of, you know, legacy just a little bit further and a little bit further, making a name for themselves. That is a big deal. They're not on drugs. They're not in jail. They're not, you know, just think about some of the stories that we hear about some Hollywood kids. What is his name? Robert Reiner is a prime example, of stories of, you give your kids everything, you give your kids the best of the best, and you still have some sort of issues. And just knowing that you can raise your kids with the best of intentions and still have problems, or you can be a parent who is completely hands off. You don't care about your kids, and your kids can grow up and be millionaires and billionaires and um, whatever. So whatever it is that we will look at as a version of success, and you ask them about their childhood, and they be like, "Oh well, My mother wasn't never home. She ain't paid me no attention. She had to work 3 jobs, and father wasn't in the house. And they still achieved a level of success. So it's all on, like I said, the morals and the values that you try to instill in your kids, and just hope for the best. You cannot be a perfect parent. Your kids are human, having human experiences just like you, because I'm sure that there's some things in your life that you ain't 100% proud of. Everybody goes through things that really changes. It changes who you are. It changes who you are. So for them, good morning, you feeling better? So for them to still be, you know, um, contributing in a positive way, I feel like the whole parenting jab from the editorial venues was like unnecessary and uncalled for. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that up. My baby wasn't feeling well last night, so I'm gonna see what she needs from me. But okay, ladies, I'm gonna put out a call. If you are in the beauty industry, or if you know anything about beauty and makeup, okay, this is for my Girl Get Up Collective members. Okay, I I need some help. All right. So now, if I pronounce this lady's name wrong, I do apologize. But about 2 Christmases ago, I went into Ulta, okay, and I found this Jacqueline. Like it's called Jacqueline Cosmetics, okay, and this is it's called I'm Dazzling Vanity Light Glazed Luminizer. It's okay. It's a glazed luminizer. That's some French stuff. I ain't even about to try to pronounce it. Okay, so I went, and I'm running out. I'm running out. Now I did. Y'all can see I'm running out. Now I don't wear a whole lot of makeup, but what I will do is put like some of this, like right around here or whatever, like that. Just a little bit, because I feel like my skin is fairly decent. It's the way I don't need to put on none of that foundation and stuff like that. I don't care for it. That's just me. Um, but I'm running out. Now, yesterday I went to Ulta again to see if they have any more, because I need some more, right? And come to find out that they do not sell this anymore. It's been discontinued. And I am highly perturbed about that, because what am I going to use? I have not been able to find anything else like it. And that's a problem for me, because I don't want to go buy up a whole lot of stuff that I really don't need, or I'm just going to throw it away, or it's just going to sit in my drawer. I want something that I can actually use. Now, I like this. I need y'all's help. If somebody can find me an alternative. I don't want it to be foundation. I want it to be like a bronzer, but this is kind of like it has a cream foundation kind of consistency, but it's not as clogging of the pores and stuff like that, and it gives a nice glow where I need it. Where I need it. I don't want to paint my whole face. So if you see this and you know the perfect alternative, it's called I'm Dazzling Vanity Light Glazed Luminizer. So I don't even know if this is really can be considered a bronzer or a luminizer. I don't know. I'm not a makeup person, so that's why I'm asking y'all to help me on this. And it's from Jacqueline Cosmetics, but I feel like it's been discontinued. And I looked on Amazon, but I don't know if the product that they're listing is this And I don't want to spend the money to buy it if it's not the same thing. So if y'all can help me out with that, I please leave me a comment. I need the help. I'm not ashamed to say it. I need the help. Please help your sister out because I do not want to go buy up a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I could go in there. I was thinking about going to Sephora and see because I took this in Ulta. Them people was laughing at me. They said, Jacqueline, we ain't seen her around here since I've been here. So I guess the lady didn't. I know it had to been like at least 2 years ago. So she must not have been here that long. But I was thinking about going to Sephora to see if they had an alternative. But everything that the lady in the store was trying to offer me, I didn't like it. I like this because I could get my little brush and I could just go right up in there just like that and be done. I don't want to have to the the alternative that the lady was giving me, I think it was called Pillow Talk. And it looked like chapstick, but it had like a little brush on the tip and you can just dab it. But I don't I would prefer something like this. Uh, so that's just what I prefer. I don't know. If somebody has an alternative, comments, please. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Um, Fair reporting. That's all I say. Be fair. Have fair reporting. Um, if you're gonna put out some type of article, make sure that it's unbiased. Um, Display both sides of the situation and give the correct context to what is going on. Don't just put out a story or what I've heard as a hit piece without giving the whole story and giving full context. So be fair. That's all I say. Is be fair and do your homework on the people that you interviewing. Okay, because it's always a history behind something. Like I said, thank you all for supporting my platform and my podcast. I'm going to put out that form sometime today so you can share your thoughts, share with me what you've learned um, from anything from that you've heard on the podcast. And I will see you this upcoming 22nd, February 22nd for episode 100. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I had wanted to share with you guys. Oh, and I think I've talked about this before that I'm going through another rebrand. So you're going to see shifts in imaging, you're going to see shifts in products and services, and I'll also keep you guys abreast about that. If you have not joined my email list, because I'm starting to put out content just for the Girl Get Up Collective members, you can actually download, and I put the link in the chat, the free brand assessment checklist. That is actually going to be going away, which is the reason why I've pretty much been giving it away to everybody who joins my collective, or you join my email list. That is going to be going away. I'm going to be uploading a couple of other things that match where I am now in my business. So as you grow, or rather as I grow, you grow, and I definitely share what I've learned with you all. So with that, I will see you all next episode. Everybody have a beautiful day. I know I will.